Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Sparking Interviews, and we're back talking more Justice League, the animated series, Season 1. We're on Episode 3. It is called Secret Origins Part 3. I think going forward, we're going to probably try to do all the parts of a story in one video. It might be a little bit longer, but it won't take weeks to do an entire story. And I can kind of feel like it loses momentum when I wait this long to try to tell these two-parters, kind of like with Doctor Who, which I'll be doing their two-parters as well. So, Secret Origins Part 3. Before we get started, just a little bit of trivia and a couple of things. Well, this is written by Rich Vogel and directed by Dan Reba, who they do a lot of this stuff. I forgot to mention Maria Canals Barrera as Hawkgirl. She's one of the best characters. She gets one of the best arcs in the show. It's a fantastic character. A character that I never really read in the books, same as Hawkman. I might think about changing that and go back and get some of the Venditti Hawkman that has just been recently out. I hear that's a really good book. And the only other thing I knew of was when they were in DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and that was... I liked the story that they did in that with Vandal Savage and their whole like backstory, but the actors... Anyway, there's really no trivia in this, just the little tidbit at the end when Superman suggests that they, all form a team, and Flash is like, what, you mean like a bunch of Super Friends? If you don't know what that is referring to, it's the old Super Friends show that was really cheesy and aired way back in the day. For some people, I can't believe I'm saying way back in the day, and mean it. But back when I was young, before I was even born, the Super Friends were a thing where it was like, they had Aquaman, the Aquaman that everybody makes fun of. I had the Wonder Twins, and it was, some of it was alright. I can still watch some of that stuff and nostalgically like it, but it's still pretty cheesy. So anyway, let's jump into the third part here of Secret Origins, where... the thing that they were trying to get rid of was the central core. I kept calling it like, oh, there's the power source. If they get rid of the central core, basically they can reverse what these guys are trying to do, shut them all down. But right now, a large ship, 5 times as big as what had come before, is coming down on Earth. And it's, like they say it's 5 times as big, and that, you get that senator, right? That's not the senator. He's telling everybody to remain calm, but you know that it's just an alien trying to basically say, don't worry about it, everybody. Everything's going to be fine, so that basically they can just take over the place. It's actually pretty good. But they immediately cut to rioting. Everybody's just rioting in the streets, and Wonder Woman, who's new to this world, is like, well, maybe these guys are right, that we're just, mankind is just a bunch of animals. But John corrects her and says, well, look, these people are really acting out of fear. And, it's really true. It's really true about us. Because I'm looking outside, and how people, and watching the news and how people are reacting to the coronavirus. And just already, it's the fear. The fear that everyone has is, look, whether it's justified or not, we turn into the fucking town of Springfield whenever... anything happens, and it just becomes So he's at least trying to paint a picture of it that look, they can't help it, which is kind of, I'm not saying he looks down on humanity, but he definitely definitely has our number. But they have to call everybody back. John and Wonder Woman have to call everybody back, GL and Flash, because Supes is captured with Hawkgirl and Batman is dead. As at the end of the last episode, John can't sense him anymore, and that he is gone. And so they're all like, holy shit, the smartest guy in the room is dead, how do we go on without him? Which basically kind of has GL kind of put himself in charge, because Wonder Woman can't just take charge because she's new to, the rest of the world. John's a Martian, so even though... he's providing a service, I guess. He's got information, he's got abilities. you need somebody who can stand in for Superman, and since he, GL's got the freaking military background and knows how to like give orders and set things up, he tells Flash to go cause a distraction while the rest of them try to sneak into this place to get Superman out. And I do like how Wonder Woman calls GL out, like saying, "Oh, are you sure you want help from an amateur?" But Flash does his thing like he usually does, zipping around. Michael Rosenbaum is great as Flash. I really want to see more of the original Justice League do the voices of the characters. I know maybe they can't always do it. If or maybe they don't want to pay them or what. But I love whenever you get the actual Justice League in some of the animated movies, if not all of them. But he does his thing, knocks down one of the big old, like, giant, I don't even know what they're called, what they'd be called, but the long ones with like 3 long legs that walk around. One of them falls down and gives them time to like get inside the place where Jean disguises himself as one of these things. Really, there's a lot of creepiness in this. So, like, first he disguises himself as one of these things, then he puts his hands into them and then phases and like causes them to like basically. But as we can see here, oh, when Flash says, "Does he creep you guys out too?" I like that line. But outside it's bananas. The ships come rolling in. It's like right out of Independence Day, from 1995. The big ship coming out of the fog, all the windows exploding and people charging into the streets. And inside, they get caught. They open the door. They finally get inside this room. They think they're Superman and Hawkgirl. Turns out that they're just pretending to look like them. They get gassed. They get captured. And when they wake up, they find the old senator standing there, and he's like, this is pretty, like you could tell in the beginning of the story where it was going, but like the senator's dead, or the astronaut that becomes the senator, he died. He never came back from Mars. He's just a corpse out there. So he woke up this thing, and they just left him there, and he died. And he took his place, and he's the one that's just been telling everybody, "Hey, everybody stay calm." But the Imperium arrives here, right? This thing that Jean has been encountered before on his own planet when he was like the last of his own kind. He was able to, escape with his life. But this thing, this like pink purple tentaclob blob machine organism comes, and this is pretty horrific looking for a kid's show. So it gruesomely like pushes its tentacles inside of Jean, working its way through, and you see it go under the skin, working its way through his flesh into his head. It's really creepy, and then it pulls him inside itself, trying to like, I don't know, like absorb him, but also like maybe not so much absorb, but like put him inside it so that it can just take over and kill him. The thing is, what I don't understand is, why is Jean so important? Why not just kill him? Right? I mean, does this thing just have a grudge against Jean being the last survivor? Because he's saying, you all must die. All the Martians have to die. But like, look at that. When it's happening, and look at their faces, it's horrifying what's happening in here. And it's fucking awesome. Because it's been a while since I saw this, and it's just freaking fantastic. So while this is happening, he's basically letting this happen to him. Because the Imperium's like, you're hiding something, aren't you? Like, I can sense something in behind you, and you don't want me to know what it is. And Jean's like, well, what are you worried about? What are you, am I sensing some fear inside you? And that's when you hear now. And that's when Batman suddenly shows up out of nowhere. Jean had been hiding him mentally, blocking his presence so that nobody would know he was still alive. And he is inside where the core is, the central core that they were trying to get in the first place. He was just waiting for his moment to get this all into place so that even though they're all captured, they all have a chance to stop it now. So Bats reverses the engine, the central core, so that it shoots out reversing the effects of blocking out the sun, which I had wondered why Superman couldn't get out of the little goop that they had him in. I was thinking, oh, well, maybe it's because the sun has been blocked for so long that he's not at full strength, and this could actually hold him in there. At least that's what I'm going with, because then once the sun comes back out, these things start, like, it's pretty awesome. Because they don't have a way, they come from deep space, so they don't have a way to fight off the UV radiation that our sun gives off. And these motherfuckers, they just start melting like Indiana Jones face style, like, oh, or, you know, the witch, wicked witch, what a world, what a world. And this thing, when this big ass blurb, like right here, look at this, it starts like sizzling and bubbling and popping and stuff, and it's really just fantastic. And him just going, what's wrong? You don't like this? Look at that. Like this thing, and it's going like, oh! So, it's really awesome. And so, you know, everybody escapes, everybody gets loose. You know, Batman shows up telling him what's going on. And a huge ass-kicking ensues where they're all just knocking these things out, getting them melted. This guy, the guy that was looking like the senator, tries to escape with the big old pink blob, who is trying to escape too. It just knocks him off. Like, it doesn't even care about the rest of them. It's only interested in its own survival, which is a little strange because I felt like this thing was like a hive mind, kind of. Like, they're all kind of one big thing, but apparently they're, even in this little group, there's like a hierarchy. So it tries to leave, but Wonder Woman uses her lasso to hold it down, and Hawkgirl goes with her mace and just starts busting the shit out of this big old spacecraft until its hull cracks and explodes, sending it careening back to Earth, where the rest of them are fighting and blowing up. It's just an awesome spectacle. Fantastic action in this episode. And so Soup saves the captured people, GL pulls them out and flies them away, and the mothership runs away into deep space to return when? You don't know. So that's the thing, is that the day is saved, world is saved, cleanup ensues, like they have to take care of all the ones that are left over. Look at that. Like just pulling out of him stuff, it's just, oh God, it's gross and awesome. So the government is saying, oh, well, this is great, but we have to remain vigilant because what if they return? And this gives Batman pause to ponder, what if? You know, look at him, he's all like, oh. So we are introduced to the Watchtower, which is always something weird for a Jehovah's Witness to say, an ex-Jehovah's Witness to say, and say the words the Watchtower. It always puts me off, like, no, I'm not talking about the magazine. I'm talking about the thing that is in space. Now, they don't say how long it took for Bruce to come up with this and have it made and then sent into space. It would have taken a long time. And even Superman's like, how are you going to explain the cost of this to your shareholders, basically, you know, for the company, you know, Wayne Tech. And Bruce is like, oh, it's just a line space and R&D. Like it's nothing. But seriously, the undertaking that would take to hide it, to build it, to figure it all out, to have we'd have to have people working there. Like, the logistics of it is crazy, but it's a show, it's a kid's show, it's a show that even adults love still, like me. But so that's up in space. This is where they come up with being the Justice League. Superman saying, you know, I used to think I could do it all on my own, I can't. You know, everybody signs up to join except for Batman, who of course is like, I'm not really a people person, but call me when you need help, and you will. And then John kind of sitting there realizing, oh, the day is done, but my family's dead, all my people are dead, what is my place in the world? And Superman offering him a chance to be a part of their world, a part of our world, a part of this family. And that's the beginning of it, and it's a really good beginning. And like I said, we're gonna cover these episodes in full parts next time. So the next storyline is Blackest Night for a Green Lantern story. Really excellent three-parter. All the action is here. I mean, when I was first introduced to this, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. I never really watched it because I was like, I wasn't a big DC fan. I love Batman, and I love the Batman the animated series, as you guys know. But I was never sure about Justice League. But then once I realized that Batman was going to be like the smartest guy in the room and always have like that ace up his sleeve, it really helped sell the rest of the show to me. And after a while, I really warmed up to every one of these characters, so that at this point, when I watch any of these episodes, I love all these characters. And it's why I've tried reading Justice League whenever I get to the comic book shops. It's like I read Batman and I read Justice League and Detective Comics. And I've still been trying to branch out and find reasons to read more DC. But this show really did it for me, and I hope it does it for you guys too. I hope you enjoy watching these. I enjoy talking about them. So if you liked this review, please hit the like button. Share this video with people who like these kind of things. If you're not a subscriber, please consider becoming a subscriber. We have a lot more stuff than this on the channel, and like I said, as I get going, and get more comfortable talking about each series I do, I usually get better and better at talking about it once we get fully involved. So I'm a little bit rusty still talking about this show, a little not completely finding my legs yet. But like if you watch my Batman ones, you can tell that I'm a lot more confident and more detailed about those shows. And I think it'll be a lot more detail when I do full stories instead of cutting them up into parts. So anyway, this is Rob saying you can find me on Twitter at reviews_gun. We'll be back next week with Blackest Night. Have a great day. Bye.